TikTok once in a blue moon. Send a DM there to weigh in. All right, we've talked a lot about this.
My children have been turned upside down and my marriage ended. My family destroyed and my children tortured because of a dangerous mental health professional who believed that she could act outside the ethical bounds of her profession by labeling herself as a life coach. I personally have come to know many individuals in the state who have had their lives upended, their finances obliterated, their marriages destroyed, their families upheaved, and or their children emotionally terrorized because of the actions of a rogue life coach.
Well, we have talked a lot about this case, the criminal case surrounding Utah YouTuber Ruby Franke and her former mentor Jodi Hildebrandt, leading to potential changes in state law. Ruby's husband Kevin issuing a statement in support of a bill which would better regulate life coaches across the state of Utah. Amanda Gilbert looked into that bill. Amanda, what is the status of that bill as it pertains to what took place on Utah's Capitol Hill? Where are we?
All right, that bill it was decided that that bill is actually going to be studied further this summer and then reintroduced next legislative session, only because we really only have a few days left in this legislative session. So the sound that you just heard before Brian talked there, that is from State Senator David Hinkins. He is sponsoring this bill, and he basically read a letter from Kevin Franke to a committee yesterday. Kevin voiced his support for this, quote, life coaching requirements bill. It would essentially require life coaches to register with DOPL, which is the Division of Professional Licensing. It would also just regulate them more in general. So I spoke with Kevin Franke's attorney today. He says a big reason Kevin is behind this bill is he feels that his wife, Ruby Franke, and her former mentor and, quote, life coach Jodi Hildebrandt destroyed his family. Take a listen.
My children have been turned upside down and my marriage ended. My family destroyed and my children tortured because of a dangerous mental health professional who believed that she could act outside the ethical bounds of her profession by labor.
Yeah, that was a little bit just from the letter from Kevin Franke there. So this is a bill we will be following closely. And again, I know, Brian, we talked about this. It's just getting a lot of attention because of that criminal case that has gotten worldwide attention.
Amanda, interesting that you spoke to Kevin's attorney today about a number of things. In short, what was that conversation about, and how is, through his attorney, Kevin processing a lot of this, specifically on the life coaching front? What does he want to see happen?
You know, that's a good question, Brian. I know Kevin's attorney, Randy Kester, talked about how, you know, Kevin is still processing everything that happened last week with the sentencing. He really said that he couldn't be there to share his letter in person because he's really focused on the children and their recovery. So I know, Brian, that is something that you're going to dive more into tomorrow too, that interview that we did today about all that.
Amanda, thank you. Of course, last week we aired a 2 News special on all of this. We took a real deep dive into this case. Ruby Franke, Jodi Hildebrandt. It's called Truth and Distortion, and you can find our 33-minute documentary. We put it out throughout the course of an entire hour on 2 News last Friday. You can find it online and specifically on our YouTube channel right now in the 8 Passengers playlist.
We decided for some low-angle, westerly facing cream. Had a great run midway in the first portion of my run. Mac thought he heard a rumble. We kind of discounted it as maybe some sledders in the distance. Finished off our run, we get down close to the bottom of our drainage. I look up and I see just this massive piece of snow has released, and most likely one of us remotely triggered it. Probably me, from hundreds of feet away. This is what we're talking about on the forecast that's really super sketchy in the Uintas right now.
All right, he's on the snow, and now he's here live with us in the studio. Craig Gordon with the Utah Avalanche Center.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, it is always good to have you.
That gentleman in the video looks handsomely
familiar. He's buff, too. He's buff. He's been hitting the weights since he was in here last. And he's been shredding some great snow here in Utah.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the state of things. We'll get to what happened yesterday in Big Cottonwood Canyon in just a second, but how are you describing the setup right now?
Right now, you know, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of storm track, and it's not a one-size-fits-all avalanche hazard. Generally, the mountains across northern Utah, I mean, we've been seeing robust storms. We've been seeing great snowfall. February has blessed us with lots of water, lots of snow, and of course, that also equals more avalanches. And as such, you know, it's a time, the days are getting longer, the sun is out, we're feeling good about things. We still need to be on our avalanche game.
Well, we talk about the current state of things and people even in that considerable danger going out and trying to get the goods. And here's what can happen. We have this video from yesterday from the Department of Public Safety here hoisting out some skiers. I hope we have it here, if we can take it. There you go. So this is that perspective of the rescue specialist dropping in to pluck them out. And, you know, what did you make from this scenario with what happened with this group, and what do you know about things? Because I know you're always looking at kind of every slide as they take place.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, this is access from the Spruces Trailhead in Big Cottonwood Canyon. And this isn't the kind of place that you just stumble on. So this is an experienced group. They've got all the right rescue gear, they've got a game plan, but things did start to go sideways. You know, yesterday the avalanche danger was rated as moderate. On a scale of 1 to 5, that's a level 2. That does mean that human-triggered avalanches are possible. In this instance, winds picked up. They stripped the snow from the windward side of the mountain, deposited on the steep leeward side of the mountain. That's the north-facing slope. And a number of the folks in this group actually got caught in this avalanche, went for a small ride, but what we're seeing here is a rescue that's ensuing. But hey, this crew's on their game. They realize that they're a bit outgunned here trying to get their partner out of the backcountry. They call 911, they get a DPS assist. So, you know, nobody's taking this lightly. It isn't like, you know, they've got a cracked thumbnail or something like that. This is serious business. And so fortunately, you know, at the end of the day, everybody comes home to their families, and that's the good news.
You mentioned the situation in terms of the 1 through 5 right now. I believe we've got the danger map for you, at least looking at the current situation right now and where we stand. So as we take a peek here, orange means what?
Yeah, orange is considerable. So on a scale of 1 to 5, considerable means that human-triggered avalanches are likely. And natural avalanches are possible. So as we started to see that snow stack up in the valley and then in the mountains last night and into this morning, it was accompanied by very strong winds, and that was loading the leeward side of the mountain. Generally, those winds started out of the south-southwest, warm before the storm. As that front moved in, they switched a little more westerly and then northwesterly. So kind of around the dial, especially at the upper elevations, there's lots of fresh wind drifts. You could easily trigger an avalanche today. Now, the thing that we need to be on our game and we need to start thinking about, and I talked about in the beginning of our segment here, is that in some places where the snowpack has remained shallow and weak and thin all year, that could be because of multiple avalanches that have already occurred, or that snow has just deteriorated over time. You know, some of those steep rocky slopes where snow can't adhere to, they're constantly sloughing off. That situation in the western Uintas, I triggered an avalanche from several football fields away. So that definitely gives you the idea that, hey, things are still sketchy out there. It's not all over the place. You can go out, you can have a blast the next couple of days. We need to go to the mountains on its terms right now. Maybe tone down our objectives a little bit. Know that there's great low-angle POW riding, skiing, boarding, snowmobiling, extreme snow angeling, no matter what your choice is. You know, definitely get out there and get after it, but think that things are going to be changing in the next couple of days. And Brian, we got another storm in the hopper. So
Craig
this isn't a static thing, man. Yeah,
like naturally
like
segueing for us for what's to come here. As we get into what Chase is talking about here, high winds and such, how does that further complicate just what you're looking at in terms of a forecast to keep people on top of the snow?
Yeah, absolutely. So winds, again, they're going to take snow from the windward side of the mountain, deposit on the leeward side of the mountain. Strong winds like we saw today create drifts lower down slope and even into mid and lower elevations, down into the trailhead elevations. So, no matter how we're headed out, and particularly if we're stepping outside a ski area boundary, know that you got to be on your game and know that you're stepping directly into the backcountry. Need to be armed with the latest avalanche forecast, UtahAvalancheCenter.org. That's your one-stop shop for all things avalanche. Have beacons, shovels, probes. Right now, as is always the case, you guys, avalanche avoidance. We know that is the big ticket item.
Veteran forecaster meets veteran meteorologist here for the crossover.
Sir, I
love
like
this.
it. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, I am most excellent.
Yeah.
What a great February we're having.
It's been almost all time, right? Just look, I think
Yes.
Alta approaching about 150 inches for the month of February.
Yeah, it has just been brilliant.
It has. And it's still snowing right now. Even though the storm is moving out, we're still seeing a little bit of snow up at Brighton. It's very windy. You can see how gusty it
sideways.
is. Yeah, blowing sideways. We've had gusts to 30, 40, 50 miles per hour. Later tonight, though, those winds will be relaxing, so we'll finally see some improvement. It's cold at Brighton, though. It is 8 degrees. And, folks, we have another winter storm in the forecast later this weekend. More on that in just a moment. Alta and Brighton, though, approaching a foot of snow in the past 24 hours. Snowbird, Park City 10, just under 10 at Solitude and Beaver Mountain. Deer Valley 8, Snow Basin, Sundance 6, and Cherry Pick 3 inches of snow. You can probably feel it, even though it might not be actively snowing right now as the storm pulls out. It is chilly out there, especially compared to yesterday. We're 23 degrees colder in Salt Lake and 25 in Price. So pretty much the entire state feeling that cooler air. Now, St. George, you're only 2 degrees cooler, so not a huge impact for you, but you will drop into the mid-30s tonight. We'll be, though, in the teens and 20s in northern and central Utah. How about some single digits in Park City and in Heber? Tomorrow, though, we start to warm things up. It's going to be a very sunny day, really pleasant, light winds, so enjoy that. Still in the 30s, though, in Park City and Logan, but we'll be in the upper 40s along the Wasatch Front. Getting cold in the morning, but you'll really like your afternoon. Low 50s in central Utah. Now, you can still see where we have some of this snow in the mountains, up to Cottonwood Canyons, areas north of I-80, few flurries in the valleys, but nothing really impacting your evening commute along those major thoroughfares like I-80 and I-15. You'll see that these snow showers kind of go away in the mountains by 8 to 10 o'clock, and then it is a very sunny Wednesday. High pressure slides in Thursday and into Friday, so those temperatures are really going up. We might hit 60 degrees Thursday and on Friday ahead of our next storm system that moves in by the weekend. Unfortunately, though, it does look very windy with this storm, so that'll increase avalanche danger. Few isolated showers in the evening on Friday, and then the main part of the storm moves in on Saturday with rain changing to snow. Sometime Saturday evening. We'll likely have some accumulating valley snow Saturday night as those temperatures drop into the 30s by Sunday with lingering snow showers, especially in the morning. And stay tuned. Right now, it looks like maybe valleys 2 to 5, mountains 1 to 2 feet, but that could change. St. George, we are sunny. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, though, as we wrap up the work week. Strong winds Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A little bit of rain Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning. Could see a few snowflakes mixing in as we drop into the 40s. And then we're back into the 50s middle of next week. Salt Lake, 48, goes 59 to 60. Again, very mild as we wrap up the work week. There's that storm over the weekend as we drop into the 30s. Might have a few flurries on Monday, so pretty decent storm this weekend. So if you have any plans, just keep that in mind. Valley snow is looking likely now sometime Saturday night, and then we're going to kind of stay chilly next week, I think into the mid-40s.
Welcome back to 2 News Live, man.
It's been a little
This
while.
is cool. I don't remember the last time this happened. Maybe it was the last time we had Craig on the show.
It was before you went down to Vegas for Super Bowl.
Yes, where it was sunny and warm
No.
for Super Bowl coverage. Living the dream in the sun and the warm. Live the dream. Just
blame
cold.
me. It was
just
cold.
cold. No, we talked about that too. It was like right around here for part of it, and we really wanted it here.
But when you're in Vegas, you know, I think the expectations make it feel a little bit colder when you're like, oh,
Sure.
I see palm trees.
Whatever the vision is. I know what you mean. Remember to download our 2 News Weather app to know about the changes in your neighborhood. You can get those updated forecasts at Live Radar right on your phone. The app has a really handy tool, that Follow Me feature. It is great. So scan the QR code on your screen to get that hot app that everyone is downloading these days, the 2 News Weather app. Chase, you've been on the snow recently. We just had Craig in here. You're at Snow Basin. You've been roaming around a couple different places. You're at Solitude and Snowbird and whatnot.
Yep.
How do you I'm not doing the 903 chant. I've settled since last time Craig was here. But how are you feeling about just generally this season in terms of the amount of snow, the quality of snow? Still the greatest snow on earth.
Started slow,
Yeah.
so December wasn't the best. January and February have been all time. They've been great. Now, I don't do anything crazy. I don't go into the backcountry. You know, I choose the days I want to go. It's been very busy at the resorts. That's one thing I've really noticed. We keep saying how busy they are. They just keep getting busier and busier. But you can find a nice little weekday before work. That's what I've been doing. But the snow is great. I mean, did snow basin over the weekend, bluebird conditions. There's so much snow. You know, February's been an all-time month, and really early March is looking pretty unsettled as well. So we're going to continue. Not going to hit 903. If I had to guess right now, I'd say 6 to 7.
Was this the first real prediction we've had
I'd say
of
6
the
to
year?
7. Yeah.
6 to 7. That is a very wide range.
Only 100 inches.
We'll let you do it here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chase. Thanks for watching 2 News Live. Always great to be with you here Monday through Friday. Streaming live at 5:30, KUTV.com, Facebook, YouTube, and the 2 News mobile app. We are back tomorrow to do more of the same thing, but different. Some in-depth conversations. We'll see you then.